All Things Motoring International is owned and brought to you by SA's most trusted online vehicle platform, CHANGECARS. Our name says it all. Whether you're looking to sell, need advice, need finance, or need insurance, CHANGECARS has you covered. Coming up this week on All Things Motoring, we travel back in time with creative rides for what must be the largest classic car auction in the Southern Hemisphere. We got to walk the floor and chat to some of the people that make this possible leading up to the big day.
Anyone who knows me will know my marks at school weren't the very best, but I'm a good listener. And my English teacher told me, Michael, you never use the same word 2 times in a row. So I listened. So what I'm going to say is wow, wow, and wow again. Behind us is 220 of the country's finest collectibles. I have no words to describe them, but for you, our magnificent audience, I'm going to find the words. Join us as we take a select few and share some info with you. What you see around you has taken 4 months to put together, but it all comes to life over 2 magic days. I mean, I see you smiling there, probably 6 months. But it all comes to life over 2 magic days, Saturday and Sunday. We are interviewing probably South Africa's most well-known auctioneer, Joff van Rieenen. Tell us about the day, what can we expect?
Well, 100 cars a day, 100 Saturday, 100 Sunday. It's,
another half day job.
Yeah, it's probably going to be about 5 hours a day. This is officially the largest collector car auction South Africa has ever seen. We've pretty much hired the entire parade ground of Monte Casino. There are cars as far as the eye can see.
Incredible.
Don't even ask me about the grand total. It's mind-boggling.
Now, you said your second year at Monte Casino. Last year, is it fair to say you had half of what you got this year?
We had about half of what we had last year. We thought it was a once-off. It was a very large collection. We were inundated by collectors around the country just saying, you have to have another one. We really enjoyed ourselves so much, you've got to do it again. So here we are, double the size.
If you're looking for the perfect business model, go big or go home, double up every year. It's incredible. Around us, 200 of what is clearly the country's finest.
Yeah.
Any particular vehicle that you've got high hopes for?
Yeah, I have a little
220 of them.
A personal favorite. It's probably that Rusty's truck over there,
right?
Which is about a 1935 with a V8 Mustang engine. It's the loudest vehicle we have here, with the biggest pipes you've ever seen, and which drown out the air horns. But yeah, no, we were lucky enough to see one 325 IS Evo 2 on auction last year. This year, 4.
Wow.
And one of them supercharged with an Alpina supercharger on it. It's people have never seen anything like it, and the only matching numbers IS we've ever seen.
Incredible.
So it's going to be a high bidding day. It's going to be a busy day. We've got registrations from 6 or 7 different countries already. We're expecting a big number of people tomorrow. Free car show, and just happen to have an auction at the same time.
Now, what is interesting here looking around, you have got some left-hand drive vehicles. So when you say 6 or 7 countries, who is the South African market? People always think that our cars leave our shores. Is it England? Is it the UK? Is it the States, New Zealand, Australia? Where are we looking at?
Mostly the right-hand drive countries. Australia strong, England strong, New Zealand strong, but weird places like India, Germany. I mean, this entire tent is full of BMWs. We literally have every M Series, M Power BMW ever made here. The left-hand drive countries, obviously the American muscle, the big trucks, go to the States. But funnily enough, our biggest market is in South Africa. Less than 10% of the 500 odd cars we've auctioned off in the last 3 years have gone overseas.
Well, that is fantastic to hear. I always say, these magnificent vehicles, keep them in South Africa for future generations. We're talking about Australia. They steal our cricketers, they steal our rugby players, and are they stealing our cars?
Not many, not many. So they're very particular about, they want the South African-made muscle cars, the Fairmont GTs, the 325 ISs, the 3-litre GDV6s. You know, they're very particular what they want, and that's going to be loud if they get it right.
So looking around, there's two cars that have absolutely caught my eye, and you haven't mentioned either. Guess what they are?
Corvette?
Nope.
No? Oh, that's going to be
A
loud.
Corvette owner that doesn't say that's a supercar will be offended.
Well, there's a lot of unique cars here that you just never ever see.
1983 Golf GTI. For me, where it all started. The term hot hatch.
The Mark 1.
Absolutely. Will that go for more than 40,000 Rand?
We have no idea. A lot of these cars here have no reserves on.
Yeah.
A lot of them are deceased estates, private collections, owners have immigrated already, museum collections
Yeah.
as well, and they have to sell. It was an exceptionally popular and successful event last year.
Of course.
This year we're expecting just the same, it's just twice the size.
So Geoff, from our side, wishing you absolute success.
Thank
if there's
you.
anything that you can't give away, if people are just saying we don't want it, consider All Things Motoring. We're very receptive to that kind of gesture. But to you and the team, the most magnificent event you will ever find in South Africa. When one thinks of BMW performance, you automatically think of the M division. But sometimes the M division is not quite enough. So BMW themselves partner with well-known tuning firms like Alpina and something behind me called Harch. Believe it or not, been around since 1971, and I found out about it today. Picture it, the year is 1982. You can get hold of any edition of Car Magazine that you like and try find the term hot hatch. Simply didn't exist. That all swiftly changed. January 1983, the term hot hatch became synonymous with Golf and the incredible Golf GTI. They tested this car in this color. Fun fact, 0 to 100, 9.3 seconds. What was under the hood? The incredible 4-cylinder 1800cc fuel-injected Golf engine. But did Golf have it all to themselves? I hear you screaming another brand. I'm hearing Opel. Opel it is. Let's go share with you this car's competition. If there's one thing about German car manufacturers, they don't like being upstaged by the competition. And I'm talking about Audi, BMW and Mercedes. I'm talking about Volkswagen and Opel. Opel didn't even call this a GTI. They had to change it. They called it a GTE. What else did they change? The VW 82 kilowatts, Opel said, we are going to smash you. We are going to destroy you. They upped it from 82 to 85 kilowatts. Personally, looking at this car, at the time, I think this was a nicer looking car. It looked bigger, it looked more solid, and it looked more aggressive, all in one. Opel, in my opinion, 1-0 to you.
Coming up after the break, we have more fun in the sun with creative rides at Monte Casino. Are you looking to sell? Visit Change Cars and click on the Selling tab.
I'm in between 4 magnificent BMW 325i's. Which one is mine? Unfortunately, none. Which one will be mine? Again, unfortunately, none. Which one would I love to own? All 4. What does the S stand for? In South Africa, we used to call it the shadow line. What else do South Africans call this? The Gusheshe. Now, amazingly, in the 1990s, the 2000s, and the 2010s, I didn't know that name. It's only recently that I've heard that magnificent word as you see Cassie car culture and these cars being drifted. What engine performance did these vehicles have? There was 2 engine derivatives. The original came out with 145 kilowatts for Standard Group N, and then the competition started catching up. So BMW upped the power by a whopping 10 kilowatts to 155. Now, the question I get asked often is, why do people love these cars so much? Well, very simple answer. What is there not to love? At the time, they were relatively affordable, absolutely comfortable. They had the beautiful BMW badge. They looked good, they drove good, and the proof is they stood the test of time. 30 years later, these things are selling for literally 8 times more than what they cost in 1992, 1993. Incredible. If only foresight was used instead of hindsight, I would have bought 10 of these 30 years ago, and I wouldn't be doing the show, I'd be retired. It would seem everywhere we go, we can't escape a beautiful Alfa 3-litre GTB6 in the magnificent color that is red. And why would we want to escape these magnificent cars? Our friend Leonard shared with you how magnificent this car is. Something else that is magnificent is another red beauty. 1991 Opel Superboss with 54,000 kilos. Is there a better example in South Africa? If there is, I would love to lay hands or eyes on it. This beautiful car, 2-litre, non-turbocharged, named Superboss. Is there a more apt name for a car of the time than Superboss? A big shout out to our friend Keegan Chetty. You gave us the pleasure of taking one of these beauties around the beautiful, incredible Desi Raceway in Port Shepstone. Something that will stick with me for a long, long time. The year is 1976. Porsche 911 is already iconic and is the identifiable Porsche. However, it was a good year for Audi. But wait a second, next to me, this is not an Audi. You're thinking to yourself, trust me, the engine in this car was a 2-litre Audi 4-cylinder. Great for Audi, definitely not a sales success for Porsche. Pop quiz, who was the most famous owner of a Porsche 924? If you ask me, it's Lucy Ewing, the niece of Bobby and J.R. Ewing. Lovely looking lady, Charlene Tilton, class act. Creative Rides 2023, 220 incredible cars on auction. This doesn't happen by accident. Mark Levy, you got a big smile on your face, a deserved smile. Tell us why you're smiling, my good man.
Guys, I just want to say thank you to all the team of Creative Rides. To put 222 cars together was no mean feat. From all over the country, from people who are making their collections a bit smaller, deceased estates, we found the cars.
For sure.
This has to be the largest classic car auction the Southern Hemisphere has ever seen.
Now, I spoke to Geoff earlier. It was amazing. 110 cars last year. You've literally doubled up. Next year, can we expect 445?
If you give us part of your collection, Mikey.
Well, around us, there's everything from A to B, literally, from Alfa Romeo to old Volvos and everything in between. What does it take to source these incredible cars? You've got a charming personality, a warm smile. Is that all that's needed?
Mike, it's a lot of friendliness, but these cars don't just appear. This is years and years of making friends. I bought my first car when I was 14 years old, an Alfa Romeo Junior in 1979. And I'm still friends with the ex-owner of Louis Buerta Motors, who gave me 6 months to pay for it.
And you probably would have paid 1,200 Rand for that car, roughly?
That would have been overpaying. I paid 999.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. So, Creative Rides, even the name sounds magnificent. Tell us a little bit about the concept, where it started, who's the brains behind it.
Creative Rides is probably now the largest classic car dealer in South Africa.
For sure.
Kevin Derrick started the brand in Johannesburg. We were doing very similar to Kevin, but on an international level in Cape Town, marketing in Australia and the UK. We merged our companies together and Creative Rides South Africa was formed.
Wow. And that is how you arrive at 220 cars.
That's how we arrive at 220 cars. A lot of our clients are foreign, and we don't only export cars. We import at least 100 cars a year too, for collectors.
So Mark, I've only got 2 wishes. That the vast majority of these cars stay at our shores and more come in, and that you and your team, both Joburg and Cape Town, go from strength to strength. You've got a magnificent concept. Your way is exceptional. All the best to you.
Mike, thanks so much for joining us on this memorable day.
Thank you. The BMW 3 Series, a magnificent, magnificent vehicle, magnificent legacy. Next to me are 2 3 Series Buckies. This is everything these cars were not meant to be, but I'm going to show you something that they were meant to be. The BMW 3 Series arrived in South Africa. We never got the first incarnation of it that Europe got, but we got the second incarnation called the E30. Magnificent vehicle, had a lifespan till 1992. What was it replaced by? This absolute beauty behind me, a 1995 325i Cabriolet. The E36 came out in August 1992 and the Cabriolet version came out in 1994. What engine? 2.5 litre straight six, silky smooth. How do I know silky smooth? I've heard it and I owned one. I never owned the Cabriolet. The engine produced 141 kilowatts and 245 Newton meters of torque. But let's see for our older viewers if they remember what this particular engine introduced in South Africa. I'm going to give you 5 seconds. I'm going to give you 3 seconds. It's Vanos, V-A-N-O-S, a magnificent valve timing concept that BMW pioneered.
Coming up after the break, we wrap up an amazing day of creative rides on auction at Monte Cassino. Did you know? The Roman Empire utilized auctions frequently. There are records of auctions dating back to 500 BC. And in England, auctions were once timed by candles pinned to a wall. Are you looking to sell? Visit Change Cars and click on the Selling tab.
British Leyland and Mr. Bean, how do you link the two? The vehicle next to me, the Mini 1275. This particular one is absolutely unique. It must be one of the last editions, made in 1992, and it hasn't got a full roof, it's got a canvas top. Can you imagine looking at this vehicle, the kind of wind noise you must have in it at 15 k's an hour, let alone 120. But what is always stand out for me, when we think of the name Mini, we think of it as a name. It's actually a size of car. Next to a conventional car, say a Golf or a Renault 5 of the time, this car is shorter, narrower, and a lot lower. Was it an iconic vehicle for the British mark? Absolutely. Anyone who's ever visited the UK will know there's so much more to that country. Here we've got entry level. Now we're going to show you mid and top of the range. What car do you drive? Suzuki Swift, Kia Sportage? Some cars you need to say the full name, and then other cars you just say M3, R8, and next to us the iconic, incredible, absolute legend that is the E-Type, manufactured by Jaguar, just in case you didn't know. So what are we looking at? Two magnificent examples of the mark. On my left is a Series 1, on my right is a Series 2. Now there are many little anomalies of each of them. Let me do two identifiable features. The covered headlights, uncovered headlights. Why was it that they went forward? Because to me it looks the other way around. That should be the starting point, and that should be the more aerodynamic look. It was nothing to do with aerodynamics. The shield made it impossible to see at night because of the reflection, and even worse in rainy weather. The engine on the Series 1, 3.8 litre straight 6, Series 2, 4.2 litre straight 6. Silky smooth. Top speed of these vehicles, the magical 150 miles per hour. Can you imagine doing 225 kilometers plus in the 1960s? I could. They often say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But when you've got many beholden, this is one such car. This was voted the most beautiful car in the world around the 2000s. Do I argue? No, I'm not that type of person. Anyone who grew up in the 1980s will remember the traffic cops or the speed cops having the Datsun Laurels, Nissan Skylines, and on their front bumper they used to have something that looked like this, and that was for what? That was to push people off the road if they got stuck. So if you broke down in the right-hand lane on the highway, they would push you into the emergency lane. Can you imagine if the traffic cops still had that today? They'll be pushing 350 taxis an hour. The taxi industry thanks you for not having it. If you recall, I said 1-0 to Opel in the original fight, but VW didn't take it lying down. The year is 2007. How many Opel Kadett GTEs did you see on the road? Not a hell of a lot, but the City Golf lived on. To VW and your marketing team, this was marketing perfection, along with the incredible long-lived VW Beetle. The year is 1983. My all-time hero Nelson Piquet has just won his second World Championship at Kyalami in the Brabham BMW. What better way to describe this iconic car than in the words of Nelson, "You interested in this car?"
Are you interested in this car? If you are, you come with me and give a lap in the race circuit.
What is standout about this car, without a shadow of doubt, it is a 3.5 litre inline 6-cylinder, but in this incarnation with 24 valves. The BMW performance at the time was absolutely stonking, and this is the engine that set the groundwork for the M5, the M3 and all those fantastic BMWs that followed. This was a car, in my opinion, that was many years ahead of its time. The body, the interior ergonomics, we've spoken about the engine. The one next to me, 1984 model with only 135,000 kilos, impeccable condition. I wish I could get my hands on it. I'll do it for Nelson. 220 incredible vehicles on auction. Each one of them has got something unique and something special. Which is my favorite, which is your favorite. Everyone is different. What I can say, who's going to have the biggest smile on their face? I reckon 220 equal smiles. Everyone who wins the bid to buy these beautiful cars, to Creative Rides and the organizers, hats off to you. What you've put together here is something excellent, special and privileged to be part of it. Here's to 2024.
That's it for now. Next week on All Things Motoring International, we head to the carousel with a rally practice test by going sideways in the dirt. Topping off our day with a Gymkhana experience. This is one show to get the adrenaline pumping.
In the words of Nelson, you interested in this car? Let's go for a drive. The car behind me recently gave me one of my best experiences ever at Desi Raceway. Big shout out to Keegan. The car behind me recently gave me one of the best experiences I've ever had. Taking it around the, oh man, come on guys. Okay, just 2 seconds. I don't think there's anyone alive that hasn't heard the saying, close but no cigar. I'm the owner of a BMW 850. I decide I want to get a personalized number plate. 850 it is. Please, can I get that personalized number plate, guys? Now that is close but no cigar. They say adventure awaits. I'm not sure what that means, but somebody's going to get lucky. Now the question I often get asked is, why do BMW, especially by my cameraman, I'm joking. Now the question I get asked, All Things Motoring International, where does the international come from? We are super proud to say our show has been accepted on the international streaming service called Roku. 70 million subscribers across the world, from the Americas to Europe, to Asia, to Africa. Watch it on DSTV channel 189, on YouTube, on allthingsmotoring.co.za or on Roku.
All Things Motoring International was brought to you by SA's most trusted online vehicle platform, CHANGECARS. Our name says it all. There is no safer online vehicle platform. That's not an opinion, that's a fact.